If you like sewing patterns that help you level up your skills and leave you with a top that is the epitome of put together, polished, and comfortable style, you're going to want to hear about this one. Hi, my name is Megan. I live in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and I love sewing my own clothes. Today I'm sharing my thoughts on the brand new pattern from Itch to Stitch, the Carmo top. I was a tester for this pattern, and when I saw the initial line drawings and photos that Kenneth, the designer behind the company, posted, I knew that I had to add this to my wardrobe. I'm currently working from home, but I do work in an office where when I'm in person, we often have to dress in business casual or more formal business attire. And I thought this looked like a polished, professional, but still easy to wear and quite comfortable top. It'd be a great transition from working at home in my sweatpants to working at the office in my hard pants. This top I made out of a beautiful bamboo French terry from Black Rabbit Fabrics. The top features this really stunning asymmetrical draped shawl detail over one shoulder, front and back, and a really nice wide V neckline that's got a beautiful finish on it. If you're making this one, I think you want to look for a fabric that has some body but also drape. So this bamboo French terry is perfect. I also think that if you live in a warmer climate, you might be looking at maybe a nice double brushed polyester or a rayon spandex with some body, because the drape of that shoulder detail is what makes it such a romantic and I think a little bit artistic and sophisticated look to it. Meanwhile, it feels like I'm wearing a sweatshirt. This pattern has cuffs, long cuffs on the sleeve, and then a hemband, so it means it's quite quick to put together once you get through the attaching the scarf. That's the other part of it. It was so much fun to sew. This pattern has some interesting design details. It comes together in a really interesting way. So if you're looking for something that will give you a little bit more to chew on, not a challenge in so that it's going to be frustrating, but something that you have to think about and really immerse yourself in while you're making it, this is definitely a great pattern to try. The pattern comes in a size 00 to 40, so quite an inclusive size range. It does not have bust cups, so if you are typically looking for a full bust adjustment or a full bust piece, this pattern doesn't have it. You might have to do it yourself. But take a look at some of the other tester photos. I'll include a link to the pattern, an affiliate link to the pattern in the description box down below, and often on the Itch to Stitch blog. She'll do a roundup of all the tester photos, and it has looked beautiful on all of the bodies that I have seen it on. It is stunning. I made mine in a size 18 at the bust to a size 26 at the hip. It's very comfortable. I think I have a really good fit on this one. The neckline is not too wide, so you can't see my bra straps. It's not too low, so it doesn't show off, too much cleavage. It's warm. It was -31 when I walked my kid to school this morning. And because it feels like a sweatshirt, I was cozy, but then I was able to immediately log on to my work meeting and looked quite put together. And I think that type of garment is rare to find. I have lots of sweatshirts and I often do wear them for work meetings, but the fact that I just felt quite polished in this, I think it's a real winner. This draped shoulder detail is really interesting. This is a bit of a fabric hog of a pattern, I will warn you that, because of the way that this drapes over one shoulder, front and back. It does use more fabric than a typical sweatshirt, but it is beautiful. And the long cuffs, I think, add just a little bit of something to the style of the pattern too. If I was gonna make this one again, I think I would go down a size in the hip just to have a little bit of a closer fit. But I also feel quite comfortable and quite confident in this. It's not clinging. And so I do feel really great. And I think that I can wear this out for dinner with my friends or my husband and to the office, and it's gonna do that double duty for me. If I was gonna sum up Itch to Stitch patterns, that's how I would do it. It's the type of clothing that you can wear professionally, or if you're looking for a little bit of a more polished, casual look. The other thing about the patterns that Kenneth, the designer behind the company, does is that the instructions are so well done. Her diagrams and her instructions are meticulous. They are very well put together. And I always learn something new when I'm making her patterns. I always appreciate the attention to detail in the finishing elements of the patterns too. So this top is finished with, on this side, it's finished with a strip of like neck tape, or kind of like a binding tape. And it asks you to use a very thin, like a power mesh or a tricot or a very thin, very high recovery jersey. And I'm going to tell you a secret. I didn't have anything like that in my fabric stash, but what I did have was a couple pairs of Spanx light shapes. They're not intense shapewear, slip shorts or panties essentially, that were in my drawer, and they don't fit me anymore. I don't use them. And so they're also seamless. So I cut them up. I cut them into strips. I made my hem tape out of it, and it worked perfectly. So a little bit of an upcycle or refashion there. But yeah, it was just a little strip of nylon. So if you're like me and you don't have any of that in your stash, maybe look through your underwear drawer and find a pair of skivvies you're not wearing anymore and give that a try. I absolutely loved making this pattern. I think that I got to use some new techniques. You don't often see things like understitching in knit patterns or really careful pressing, and that would be key to success for this one. Because this is a bamboo, like I didn't want to press it on too high of a heat because I didn't want to melt the fabric, which I have done in the past. But I also wanted to make sure that this lay nicely, that the top, the V on the front and back was really neat and polished looking. And so it was worth the extra time and effort to pay close attention to those details. I used my cover stitch to hem the shawl, and I think it does lay quite nicely. You don't need one, like you could hem this with a regular zigzag or a twin needle if you felt like that, or even just a straight stitch, because it doesn't require any stretch, but it is beautiful. And it was nice to sort of flex those slightly more intermediate sewing skills. It's not a difficult pattern to make. You take it step by step and you will come out with a beautiful top. I think that if you like to try something new, you're looking to level up, this is the pattern for you. I'm thrilled with this pattern, and if you're interested in giving it a try, please let me know down below what would you make it out of. Have you seen any other versions that interest you? I hope you are having a great day, and I will see you again soon.